Welcome to Pick My Brain. My name is Eric Brewer with Integrity First Home Buyers. How do you stay focused when everything feels urgent? The short answer is I don't. I could be a lot better at staying focused, and I have a tendency to see everything as both important and urgent. If I've gotten a little bit better at it, it would have to be to the credit of my wife and my family, where I notice if everything is urgent and everything is important throughout my workday, when I get home, nothing is important. There's only so much capacity I have, and I think most people have emotionally and physically and spiritually. I just don't want to burn up all of my available emotions and patience while I'm at work. So I've just forced myself to calm down, take things a little bit more in stride, and not try and choke everything out, and just allow things sometimes to unfold and be what they're going to be, and only choose to influence or get involved. There's a really good saying a mentor of mine gave me that has helped me with this. And he said, ask yourself this question: is this something that requires my involvement, or is this a situation where I need to manage my attention? And I've gotten better about managing my attention and not always getting involved. What do most people get wrong about you? Whew, man, I don't know. I don't talk to most people. If I had to guess, I would think that most people think that I have everything together, that I have everything figured out, that I have. There was a guy I was just talking to on the phone before I came in here, and he goes, yeah, but you're rich. And we weren't talking about money. So in his eyes, I didn't struggle with depression, or I didn't struggle with self-confidence, or I didn't struggle with lack of clarity or lack of purpose or spinning wheels or getting in a rut. And the reality is that I struggle the same, if not more than anybody else. Being an entrepreneur and a business owner, where I absorb the responsibility of the livelihoods and the happiness of over 50 people that work for me. Sometimes it's difficult for me to turn that off. And even though my personal life and finances and things may be as good or better than I ever hoped they would be, I still struggle in the day to day with the same things that most people do. What's one deal that taught you a major lesson? Whew, 18 Elmwood Boulevard. It's a property I bought in 2006. We made the offer probably, I don't know, a month or two before the economic collapse started to unfold. And we finally sold it about 3.5 years later and lost $250,000. And I think there was two things that I learned from that property. Don't be emotional when making investments. I got caught up in the idea of doing a big deal and a big fancy house, and kind of flexing our muscles because we were one of the bigger real estate investors in this area, and we were going to take down this big project, and it was probably more of a pride play more so than it was a smart investment. And then the second thing I think it taught me is to stay in my lane. This was a $500,000 house, and up until that point, the most expensive house we probably did was $200,000. So the second lesson for me was to not bite off more than I can chew. And I will forever remember 18 Elmwood Boulevard. It's already been almost 20 years, and it still stings a little bit. What is a non-negotiable family rule in your household? I would tell you this really comes from my wife, and her number one rule, non-negotiable, is to be kind. We have 6 children, and at times they can get after each other. They can pull hair, scratch, take toys, say sometimes not so nice things. And my wife is very tolerant and patient. But a quick way to end your ass in punishment is to be unkind to someone in the household. Got it. If you had 10 minutes on national TV, what would you talk about? National TV. I would probably talk about my family. There's so many lessons that I learned from being a son, a father, a husband, a father to a teenager, a father to a 4-year-old daughter. I think that the easiest way for me to literally relate to most people is through my children. I've learned a lot of lessons from being a father. It's made me cry, it's made me laugh, it's made me excited, it's made me worried. And I look at it as a very, very big responsibility as a father to nurture beautiful humans and send them off into the world so that they can go out and make a positive impact. I think that most often, when people struggle, it can almost certainly be tracked back to not having a good support system or people around them as a child, and then we spend dozens of years and decades of trying to undo trauma that was done to us as a child. So for me, I think I put a ton of significance and importance around parenting and take a lot of responsibility for the role that I play as a father. And that's the message that I would want to share with the world if I had 10 minutes on TV.